Yo, what is up guys? It is AA Lightning back with another video. And in today's Ninjago video, we're going to be ranking all the Ninjago bad guys on a tier list. So without further ado, let's uh, let's start this ranking. So coming in at first we have the Oni dude from Ninjago season 10. Masters of the Oni is what I think it's called. Since that season wasn't that good and the Oni didn't have that great of like, playing it, I just didn't like that season. I don't feel like he'll be very memorable, so he's gonna get a D on my tier. Not the greatest villain that I could have thought of. There's much more villains, and this is not based on strength. This is more based off like personal preferences. I just didn't like this character that much. It didn't appeal, and he was only there for like what 2-3 episodes, so I wouldn't say he's a really good villain overall. He's a D tier villain. I would have actually put him in the F, but eh, that's whatever. He can take D tier because he's powerful, I guess. Um, the next villain we have the guy from season 13. This villain, have no clue what his name is. The Skull Sorcerer. Yeah, this guy. He had the Skull Sorcerer. This season was actually fairly decent, but the villain wasn't that good. I actually didn't like the Skull Sorcerer. I liked Grief Bringer a lot. I thought he was the like. I loved the fact that Grief Bringer was there. I loved the Geckos versus Monks. I loved that Cole had his own season, but the villain just doesn't add up. So he's gonna get a C tier for me. And he's not one of those villains that play a part in multiple seasons. So if you guys know, those type of villains will be higher up on the list that play a bigger part in multiple seasons. Coming in next we have Ronin. Ronin is gonna get, well, he's not really a villain. Ronin, I like Ronin's character development, so I'm gonna give him an A because he's with the ninja sometimes and he's against the ninja. Like in season 5, he was against them because he wasn't gonna give them the sort of sanctuary, I believe. But he was also with them. Uh, or not the Sword of Sanctuary, the Airjitsu scroll, but he was also against them in season 6 when he tried to find them, track them down, and put them in jail. So Ronin is sort of a good and bad guy, but he's gonna get A tier from me. Not the best, not the worst. Rumi has good and bad parts. That's all I'm gonna say about her. So she's just like Ronin for me. Good character development, not the greatest. Villain, not the greatest villain, I'd say. She's kind of a bad villain, if I'm gonna lie. She's more of like, I don't know. She's more of like a deceiver, sort of. Like, I wouldn't say she's villain. I don't think she's a great villain, so she's gonna get A tier for me. The Great Devourer is an absolute S tier. This was the biggest hype of season 1. I was so hyped to see the final battle when the Great Devourer got unleashed. I'm actually gonna put him at A because S is safe for the greatest. But I don't know. It just doesn't get that S tier because he wasn't, the Great Devourer wasn't a part in many other seasons, or he wasn't a part in the greatest Ninjago season. So I'll give him at an A tier. Coming up next, Yang, F tier, because Dave the Departed was horrible. He was a horrible villain, and it was honestly just a waste of time overall. So I'm gonna give him an F. I'm gonna put him in the F tier. Now we have Nadakan the Jin. He is getting an S tier because he is part of the greatest Ninjago season, in my opinion. Second greatest behind Season 9 Haunted. And I feel like Nadakan plays a huge role as a villain. I feel like he hit his mottos, like he didn't have wishes and he wants stuff for himself. And not only that is that his motto to create a new world because his realm got destroyed. I also like the fact that he's the most powerful villain. Well, not most powerful, but I'd definitely add him in my top 3 for most powerful. So that's why Nadakan gets S tier. Samakai, he's gonna get another F tier from me. Samakai just is a weak villain, didn't play much of a role in Yarmadon, easily defeated him for rule over the skeleton, so Samakai is gonna get an F tier from me. Now is this Crux or a Chronix? This is a Chronix. A Chronix, I actually thought the first battle between him and Sensei Wu was decent, so I'm gonna give him a C. Same with Crux. We'll put Crux and Acronyx together, both at C tier. Even though Hands of Time was the worst season in my opinion, and I did not like it, Crux and Acronyx. I thought that the first battle, I'm actually gonna put Crux at D. I thought the first battle between Acronyx and Sensei Wu was decent, so therefore I'll give Acronyx C for this one. He played a decent part in the season. Okay, coming up next we have Lloyd. He's an F. That like Lloyd was not intimidating. He was not entertaining. Like nothing good about him was a villain, so I'm gonna put him at an F tier. Don't really need to explain why. Now we have a Garmadon at the Sons of Garmadon. Um, this Garmadon was more of a villain. He wasn't. There was no good in him. He didn't care about anything. He was 100% villain, and I'm gonna put him at the S tier to go along with Nauticon. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. They brought him back with no heart, no love. It was just great. He was the type of Garmadon that I was waiting to see. So yeah, he's gonna get an S tier for me. Next up we have this dude. Forgot his name because it's so irrelevant, but he's gonna get a B tier because he's in a great season with Sons of Garmadon, and I feel like he plays an important role in that season, even though he's not a main villain. I feel like he's a very likable villain in his time, so I'm gonna send him in the B tier. He's decent. Um. Next up we have Moro, Master of Wind. Actually, you know what? Let's change these two. Let's put him down in C, and let's put the Emperor up here, because the Skull Sorcerer is a main villain, and I feel like he was part of a good season. So we'll put him up at B tier. We'll change the list as we go along if we feel like someone should be somewhere else. And next we have Ultraviolet. She's a decent villain. I felt like she was like she's kind of like Nia's rival villain, I would say, and she's gonna get a B tier for me because I feel like she was a huge part in the Sons of Garmadon. She was a really entertaining villain to watch, and by far I think she's a top 15, top 10 villain. She's really entertaining. She has good screen time. Everything is great about her, so she's gonna get a B tier for me. Now the Nindroids from the Overlord season. That was Zane's season. I think they were decent. They had a decent role, so I'm gonna give them a C because they were like a good second, third villain in that season, and I feel like they were a very important part of the Hackman droid. So I'm gonna give them a C. Coming up next we have Pythor, and Pythor is also gonna get not a C. We'll bump him up to the B tier. The reason I have Pythor at B tier is because I feel like there's good parts and bad parts about him, but a really good thing I liked about Pythor is he was a huge part in he was a huge part in season 1, and not only did he come in season 1, he also came back in season 3, played a part in season 4, and was there in Day of the Departed. I liked all of those factors that Pythor was a huge villain, comes in throughout the seasons, so he's gonna get a B tier for me. Coming up next, we have. Who is this? Am I missing something? Right, we're coming back to that one. Next one we have Mr. E. He didn't play a huge role, so I'm just gonna give him a C tier. There's nothing else to say other than he got crushed by Garmadon. That one fight against Zane where he absolutely destroys him, that was an interesting fight, but he's gonna get a C from me. Um, the Ice Emperor, he didn't have enough screen time, and even though he was like super feared along that realm and overtook Zane and stuff, he's also gonna get a C from me because I didn't like the Ice chapter that much. So yeah, we have a lot of characters in the C tier. Next up, the Preeminent came in one episode in total, so I can't give him anything above a C. One episode isn't gonna get you anything above the C, and Moro was the main villain of that season, so He's not gonna get anything higher than a C from me. C is deserved. I think C makes sense. So C is basically all the villains that are decent. D is bad villains, and F is horrible villains. B is good. A is great. S is superb villains, in my opinion. So, what do we have next? Klaus. Klaus is an A tier villain. He plays a huge role. I think he's a great second to Chen. He comes back in season 6 and releases Nauticon, so I like all those factors. So Klaus is gonna get an A tier from me. He's kind of like Harumi, a great second to the first. I still don't know who this is. Who is that? Can't remember. What? Am I missing something? I don't think I am. Alright, we have Scales. Scales is a D. A very weak villain and was like the third character. He's kind of like Samakai, but a little bit better than Samakai, so I'm gonna have him at a D tier. Next up we have Asphira, D tier. Fire Chapter was boring. Asphira was boring. Nothing was great about this season either, other than the fact that the opening couple episodes were actually sort of entertaining. Next up we have Iron Baron from the Oni realm. I'm gonna actually put him at the B tier because I think Iron Baron played a huge role in that realm. It was part of the better seasons, I would say. Actually, I'm gonna bump him up to the A. Iron Baron played a huge part in that season and was one of the better villains, more recognized villains in my opinion. So I'm gonna have him at the A tier. Um, the Overlord. The Overlord is definitely an S tier because he is one of the most powerful villain, and not only that, he came in 2 straight seasons, and I felt like in both seasons he was really good. Even though I didn't like season 2 that much, and season 3 was meh. It was a good season, but not a great season. The Overlord is super powerful and he's super entertaining to watch, so he's definitely gonna be getting an S tier from me. Still don't know who these two characters are, so we might just leave them out. Unigami, I kind of want to put him at the D tier because I don't think he like should be able to compete with the Ice Emperor, but for reasons I'll put Unigami at the C tier. Season 12 wasn't a great season. Unigami wasn't a great villain. But I feel like he was powerful in his own ways, and the video game concept was sort of entertaining, so I'll give him a C tier, and the fact that he could control what happened in the video game, I'll give him a C tier. Okay, Lord Garmadon, but not at his most powerful stage, when he was going to possess the golden weapons. This Garmadon has to be S tier, because I feel like it's a good and bad Garmadon. It's the perfect mix. I loved this Garmadon so much. It was absolutely great to watch. And I have to give an S tier. Last but not least, we're gonna have Master Chen, and I'm gonna put Chen at the A tier. Chen was well, actually, we'll bump him up to the S tier. Chen was a really good villain. Love Noodles. I love his signature traps, and even though he only came in 1 season and had a glimpse in season 5, he was super entertaining and super funny. So yeah, Chen is gonna get S tier. So now we're gonna organize them from best to worst. Nauticon, in my opinion, has to be, actually, Nauticon, I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go that, Chen, Garmadon, the Overlord, and I'm gonna go Klaus, uh, the Great Devourer, Iron Baron, we'll go right there, Harumi, and Ronin. I feel like Ronin and Harumi aren't really that bad guys, but they're just super, like, Ronin is like just super entertaining. So once again, this is not based off villain, this is based off entertainment. So Ronin is getting an A tier. B, Moro has to be the top of B. He's literally inching towards A. Actually, you know what? We'll swap Ronin and Moro, because I feel like Moro is more of a villain than Ronin is. Alright, I'm gonna also demote Ronin one more spot because he plays a good guy role too much to be any higher. So we're gonna have we're gonna have Pythor, um, Ultraviolet, the Skull Sorcerer, and then Ronin. Because I feel like I overrated Ronin because he's not that much of a villain. He plays a very little villain role, so he's gonna get a B from me. C tier. I think this goes perfectly. I'd have Mystery above this guy. Unigami, Ice Emperor goes here. Unigami right there. Preeminent only had one episode again, so it has to be. Uh, we'll put the Preeminent right there. So it goes in perfect order, in my opinion. For the D tier, Asphira, I'm gonna have Crux, Asphira, Onimaster, then Scales, and the F tier, Perfect Samakai. Well, Samakai, Yang, and Lloyd. So if you guys enjoyed that video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel.